now joining us in the studio is TVC sports correspondent Miyen Akiri, who joins me to look at the wider implications of the COVID-19 outbreak across the world. Well, let's start from Nigeria, Miyen. A few weeks ago, we thought it was a global thing and that Nigeria may be exempted, but now even right here, Nigeria is feeling the impact of the pandemic. All sports events have been brought to a halt. Let's start with the National Sports Festival. A right decision?
Well, it's proven that it was a right decision by those who run sports in the country, even though a few people felt it came a bit late. But like they say, better late than never. You could imagine if the National Sports Festival had gone ahead, it would have been disastrous. And we must indeed take a look at the implications, on a large scale at this point in time. Some are of the opinion that the government never really took a look at the bigger impact on the negative scene, and that's why the panic button wasn't pressed on time. But the issue is developed countries at this stage are struggling, to indeed cope with the coronavirus pandemic situation. So it was a good decision to ensure that the National Sports Festival was indeed called off or put on hold. And we want to take a look at the Nigeria Professional Football League. We were indeed surprised that the Week 25 matches, took place across different centers in the country. And we're still talking about that when the Nigerian Football Federation came out that all football activities in the country, would be called off for at least 4 weeks. And they would indeed work hand in hand with the Ministry of Health, while they're also monitoring proceedings from the World Health Organization. The worrisome situation, for a sports lover in Africa, in Nigeria, is when you take a look at what the World Health Organization is saying, that in Africa the impact may get worse before it would get better. And you want to ask yourself, how worse will this go before it gets better? That's the thinking of an average Nigerian at this point in time. But to a large extent, sports has been grounded across the globe. Across the globe, indeed. And of course, it comes with a lot of impact, especially on the business side of sports. Of course, Larry Zamoje pointing out there that the pandemic has taken its toll on sports globally. But let's look at here in Nigeria. Even though many would consider that the sports scene in Nigeria has not been that with a lot of commercial prowess. But of course, a lot of investment has gone into the sports festival. Athletes are complaining. Even fans are also complaining. How much of an impact should we expect in the coming days? Well, I think it wouldn't just be about the issue of Nigeria, because it's been said to be a pandemic. It's global at this stage. So you can't indeed write off the impact it would have at the biggest stage or at the world stage before you consider the continent of Africa. If the World Health Organization haven't come out to say, oh, the situation is getting better, as we speak, in the United States, people are dying on a daily basis. In the UK, people are dying on a daily basis. And some are of the opinion that in some parts of the world, every 10 minutes you have people dying and individual is dying owing to this virus. Then we must indeed take it seriously at this stage. It was indeed highly absurd that the Turkish Football Federation allowed football to continue, despite you having the countries.
The excuse was that it was played behind closed doors.
It's not acceptable. It's a contact sport. Footballers across the globe, from the UK, from Scotland, we're having this. And John Obi Mikel's contract was terminated, thanks to the fact that the fifth pro, came into this, and 24 hours after, the Turkish Football Federation are saying they are putting, football off. It's a shame and it is sad.
Well, we'll talk about that in the coming days. Thank you very much, Miyen Akiri, TVC Sports correspondent, for sparing us your thoughts on the latest developments.